There is no big brother in the sky.
Highly illogical.
Wait a minute, stop right there. I'm not gullible like the rest of these atheists out there. Where's your proof? It's time for Preaching to the Choir Ministries.
The fool has said, in his heart there is no God. They are corrupt.
There is no big brother in the sky. It is a horrible idea that there is somebody who owns us, who makes us, who supervises us, waking and sleeping, who knows our thoughts, who can convict us of thought crime, who can do thought crime just for what we think, who can judge us while we sleep for things that might occur to us in our dreams, who can create us sick, as apparently we are, and then order us on pain of eternal torture to be well again. To demand this, to wish this to be true, is to wish to live as an abject slave.
On behalf of the atheist community, I would like to apologize for the stupid statement Christopher Hitchens just made. The stupid statements that Christopher Hitchens made. Every statement he made after he said that there is no big brother in the sky was all an appeal to emotion. Christopher Hitchens believes that God is immoral, therefore he doesn't exist. And that, my friend, is the closest thing to proof you're ever going to get for the non-existence of God. Christopher Hitchens, even though you're not here, I'm talking to the atheist community who adore you and worship you and look upon you as their undefiled leader to whom no one could defeat you, only because you never faced me before. And by the way, you've gotten your butt handed to you numerous times by other people. The bottom line is this. Your appeal to emotion does not prove that God isn't real, and you haven't even established the fact that you're a truthful individual for me to take your word that God isn't real. So, where is the proof that God isn't real? And if I don't see the proof for God isn't being real, then, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. I believe that God does exist, and I believe it's highly logical that he does exist. The arguments for intelligent design, the arguments for the presuppositional argument, which says that you can't make sense out of your own reason or your own logic without God. The cosmological argument, the answered prayer, and the other arguments that we have out there are good reasons to believe that God exists. Except the atheist community, you guys just built these straw men that are so easy to burn down. And as long as a Christian isn't dumb enough to listen to your claim without first going to the Bible first to see whether or not you're telling the truth, it's pretty easy to burn those straw men down. Yeah, that's all you guys got is a bunch of straw men. Christopher Hitchens is wrong. You can't say that God isn't real because God is immoral. God could exist and be immoral. It's a stupid thing. Again, where is your proof that God isn't real? Or how about this? How about one sound argument? Just one! That he isn't real. And since we're talking about the God of the Bible, just keep in mind after that we'll be talking about the God of Islam, we'll be talking about pagans, we'll be talking about the various other religions out there. Atheism is a joke. You guys are really theists. You guys know this by now, but let's go on to the next moron.
Not tempted to believe, and we could believe that we're in the Matrix, and that you go down that path, and there's a lot that could be asserted by people who are sure we're in the Matrix, and we're some alien civilization is simulating us on their hard drive. One problem is that we have many holy books authored by the creator of the universe, and they're in conflict. They're not. The New Testament makes it perfectly clear that Jesus is the Son of God, really the Son of God, and you have to believe this, otherwise you're going to spend eternity in hell. The Quran says twice that Jesus was not the Son of God, and anyone who believes he's the Son of God will spend eternity in hell. I mean, this offers as much room for compromise as a coin toss. So let's say we just knew that one of those claims was right. We have we've eliminated all the other possibilities. We're living in this challenging universe where God has given us a highly imperfect book and asked us to grapple with it. But now we have the biblical claim, the New Testament claim to the divinity of Jesus, and the necessity of believing in it, and the Quranic claim that belief in Jesus' divinity leads to damnation. Which is more likely, that one of those is right and the other is wrong, or that we have these competing tribes who are toiling in the context of just abysmal ignorance about the world and the birth of the cosmos and the destiny of any individual soul after death.
You can't be serious. You really can't be serious. The Matrix? The Matrix? Are you serious? That's a movie! And by the way, if you did try to use the Matrix or a supreme alien race to try to say that they created us, by very definition, that alien race or the creator of the Matrix will be a god. Go get an education. That's number one. Number two, pay attention to this now. You're trying to say that Christianity might not be wrong, and that's the key word there, might not be wrong, because Christianity is saying one thing and Islam is saying another. How about I meet you right where you are, okay? I believe atheism is the belief that apples do jump rope with oranges. Whereas you might say that atheism is a lack of a belief in a god or gods. Okay? The non-belief in a god. A, to be without. Theist, to be without theism. To be without God. That's what your atheism means. To be without God. Or to be without theism. Now, how do I know who's telling the truth? I have proposition A, and I have proposition B. I don't know. Maybe I should look in a dictionary, maybe, or an encyclopedia. Or how about I go meet an atheist and ask the atheist myself, what is atheism? And then I'll get my information. Okay, and we'll take whatever's the most trustworthy, and then we'll make our decision on what is the best answer for that. And I already know from already doing that atheism, according to you guys anyway, is the lack of a belief in a god or a gods due to a lack of evidence. That's what you guys call it. You guys just don't believe that God exists. Now, if you want to know if Christianity is telling you the truth, do yourself a favor. Stop reading the footnotes. Okay? Stop reading commentaries by other people. Get one of these for yourself and read it. Then go get a Quran and read it. One thing I can tell you that you're going to see with Christianity is we're very consistent. And if you have any questions, we can answer whatever questions you have regarding Jesus, the resurrection, the things that Jesus taught. And you'll see that it's a lot more consistent with the religion of peace, known as Islam, where they're so peaceful that they fly airplanes into buildings. Now, I know I'm being a little bit unfair there with Islam, because we know that we do have peaceful people in this country who are Muslims, and not all of them believe in this jihadic attitude that they got to create holy war with everyone. Okay? But information is a wonderful thing, Sam Harris. You should probably learn how to obtain it and use it. Get your head out of the science book for 5 minutes and learn something other than that. You know, there's history, there's math, there's a whole bunch of other things out there you can learn besides science. Let's go on to the next person.
We are each free to believe what we want. And it's my view that the simplest explanation is, there is no God. No one created the universe, and no one directs our fate. This leads me to a profound realization. There is probably no heaven, and no afterlife either. We have this one life to appreciate the grand design of the universe. And for that, I am extremely grateful.
Atheists drive me crazy because they get mad at me because I tell them that they have a religion and a faith, and they don't like it. But then Stephen Hawking is going to say, there's probably no God, there's no creator of the universe, la, 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 la. And little old me is just asking for a little bit of proof, just a little bit, tiny, tiny, tiny part of proof. Do you have any proof, Stephen Hawking? You're supposed to be one of the most intelligent people out there in the atheist community. And it's a shame I got to show you this. It really is. This is a cat. How do I know this is a cat? Because when he eats like a cat. He purrs like a cat. When he smells me like a cat. He looks like a cat. I mean, examine him very closely. I know he's a cat. By the way, his name is Uno, and he's my little baby. Yeah. So, you are taking a look at a cat, and I know it's not a dog. And if I want to know if it's a boy, all I gotta do is look down on him, and I'll know that he's a boy. All the proof is there for me. And I can present this to a judge, and they will come to the conclusion that this is a cat. However, where is your proof that there is no God? You saying probably means you have a faith. You don't have any demonstrable, any empirical evidence. I have a faith that God exists. Okay? But I have evidence to back up what I believe. Where's the evidence to back up yours? What do you have that would suggest that God isn't real? Most of the all of the arguments that the atheist community use against Christianity, Islam, and these other religions out there, most of those arguments are straw men. You're not even accurately representing what people believe. And you're trying to attack a straw man instead of attacking what the Bible actually says about God. Stephen Hawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris, none of you have any proof that there is no God. You have a religious belief that there is no God. You have a faith that there is no God. But you don't got anything demonstrable or anything empirical that would convince me that there is no God. Now, I understand that you deceive some gullible people out there who lack the ability to think and use critical thinking. I never thought I'd be using this against you guys. But you guys crack me up. God isn't real. What's your proof? I don't got none. God isn't real. What's your proof? I don't got none. God isn't real. I can't prove it. You can't prove a negative. You're right. If I made a positive claim and said that this was a dog, and you said no, it isn't. no, I'm saying if I made a positive claim and said this is that I believe that dogs exist, and I have one in my hand, and you say that dogs don't exist, you can easily look at this and say that this is not a dog, this is a cat. So the bottom line is you guys don't got no proof that God doesn't exist. And for those of you who are new to the great debate community, please understand this. Every time you try to make an atheist prove something that comes out of their mouth, the first thing that's going to come out their mouth is you can't prove a negative. And they're not doing that because they don't want to try it, because they know the potential problems they can run into by trying to prove it, because they know they can't do it. At the end of the day, they have a faith, they have a belief that God isn't real and is not backed by anything demonstrable or anything that is empirical. These people are not atheists. They are anti-theists. They're a misotheists, and they hate God. They hate the concept of God. They hate the idea of, and you listen to Christopher Hitchens, what he said earlier, he confirmed the fact what I'm going to say right now. The idea of having to worship or to take orders or to listen to commandments. Atheists want to do what they want, and that sounds strangely familiar. There's another group out there that believes that you can do what you want.
In reality, though, following Satan is far more mundane and universal than most people realize or would care to admit.
But I can do anything that I want to. I can pursue any kind of lustful desires that I might feel. I can engage in any activities that are so-called sinful activities and not really worry about any ecumenical councils making it right for me to do these things.
Living for, as I've said, all of the earthly and carnal pleasures.
A satanic world is a world reborn in purity, a world where the instinct and the intellect will be complementary to one another rather than being at odds with one another. It will be a world in which we follow laws of nature instead of just the rules that man's made up to regulate his conduct.
All right, we got one rule. There are no rules. Have a good time. Do what we want.
Now, if a Christian said to you, you were just really worshiping yourself, what would you say?
In a sense, they would be right. It is a form of self-worship.
And this is the point that I want to bring all of you to. There are no atheists on this planet, okay? These atheists on YouTube are baby Satanists. They don't even realize it, okay? These atheists are arguing the very same points that they're arguing for in Levian Satanism. They want to reduce you to an animal, get rid of the Bible, and have you live a life where you do what you want. Just like Anton LaVey said in the clip, Zena LaVey and this high priest of Satanism just endorsed. In fact, she was so honest that she admitted something that the atheist community won't, that what they're doing is actually a form of self-worship. But the atheist community are in denial. And for those of you who don't know this, Anton LaVey is supposedly atheist, and so are the other members of the Church of Satan. We have churches of Satan all over here in New Jersey. We have them in New York. There's a few of them here in the East Coast. And more than likely, there's one in your area too. The Bible predicts that Satanism will be the #1 religion in the world. The Bible tells us in Revelation chapter 13 that the beast, the Antichrist, will make war with the saints and will overcome them. That everyone who dwells on the earth will worship the beast. Who will worship the dragon, Satan, who gave power to the Antichrist, the beast. And they will say, who can make war with him? Who can fight with him? And this is what's being presented around us. So when you're talking to an atheist, you're not really talking to somebody who has a lack of a belief in a God or gods. You're talking to a premature Satanist who hasn't come to the realization that they're a Satanist yet. That's just the truth. They have no proof that there is no God. At some point, they're going to think to themselves, because their pride is getting that high. They think they're smart and everybody else is stupid. I'm going to say this again. The atheist community thinks they're smart and everyone else is stupid. If you're an atheist, you know what I'm talking about. And at some point, they're going to start treating themselves like they're their own gods. They're already doing it. They just haven't acknowledged it yet, at least not in public. So Christians, when you're talking to these atheists, keep in mind there is no proof that God isn't real. And you have to be careful when you go into these conversations with them, because they are controlled by demons, and these demons seek to destroy your faith in Jesus Christ. And until next time, guys, this has been another edition of Preaching to the Choir Ministries. I know it got kind of goofy in this and everything, but this is serious. Telling all of you to read your Bible and do what it says. And for those of you who are atheists, you need to make your mind up who you're going to serve. The fact of the matter is right now you're serving yourself, but at some point in your life, you're going to acknowledge the fact that you are your own God if you haven't done it already. Or you're going to bow your knee and confess that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God, and that God rose up from the dead on the third day. God bless.